Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a review show special. This is where I take a deep dive into a particular creator, a particular product, a particular company, normally something that there's a lot of people buzzing and vibing about. And today, I'm going to be looking at the Black Mirror project. Now, it's taken me a little while to get this review out. I wanted to get it out a lot earlier. But the reason that it took me so long is I really wanted to learn and understand everything about the Black Mirror project. And it is mammoth. So it spent a long time learning it, working out how it all worked, understanding it. And now I think I'm in a position to give this a review. Now, if you don't know what the Black Mirror project is, it's by David Jonathan. It's been produced by Murphy's Magic. And it is the third David Jonathan release that focuses on shortcuts within the iPhone. So first of all, the first thing that you need to understand is if you are not an iPhone user, this project is not going to be any good to you at all. This revolves around using the Shortcuts app on the iPhone to be able to do some pretty incredible things. So be an iPhone customer, I think, is the first thing that you need to understand there. However, as I say, this builds on the work that David has put in beforehand. So the first project that David brought out was about a year ago, and it was called Vox. And it was a very clever use of the Shortcuts app to be able to do an any card at any number. Off the back of that, that came out through Murphy's Magic as well. Off the back of that, he self-produced a second project called Synergy, which you can see a review for in the archives here at Magic TV. We gave that a very good review, and it was a shortcuts project, but you also had with it a remote control. And a lot of the shortcuts were activated via the remote control, so it had a very hands-off feeling. And then that brings us to the Black Mirror project. Now, Synergy was massively advanced compared to Vox. Vox was really just about one particular subject. Synergy kind of went in many, many different directions. What David has done with the Black Mirror project is he has taken this whole thing to an entire other level. Honestly, so Michael works in this office, and Michael's background is in tech, and he understands iPhones and shortcuts very, very well. And in the past, when I've done something that involved a shortcut, he's actually said, "Is that a shortcut?" He didn't even realize the shortcuts were being used in any of these routines. Like, they are just what David's done with shortcuts is he's created things that normally you'd need to buy an app for. And yet, because there's no app in play, it means that everything takes place on the phone. And he's been able to really kind of streamline the input methods behind the effects that you're going to see. Now, before I get into doing some performances for you, before I get into giving it a review, I did have the opportunity to sit down and chat with David Jonathan about the Black Mirror project. So we sat down over Zoom, I interviewed him, I asked him about the project, asked him about his thoughts, and it's a really interesting interview that gives you more of an insight into what David was trying to achieve with the Black Mirror project. So before we go any further, I'm going to show you that interview. We're going to have a look at that, and then after the interview, we'll bring it back into the studio and I'll give it a full review. So, like I said, I am joined on this review show special by one of the most prolific, one of the most creative creators in the Magic community, somebody who is carving a huge legacy out for himself. Mr. Shortcut as well, I think, is one of the best. He's revolutionizing tech magic and doing it in such an amazing way. The one and only David Jonathan. How you doing, David? You okay?
I'm fantastic. I'm glad to be here.
I thank you so much for jumping on. I know how busy you are. You're juggling a million different projects, and your aftercare for your customers is second to none. I know you have
Well, thank
multiple
you.
Facebook groups that are just like set up, and you're constantly on it. I've seen people, like, when you've bought something out and there's been an issue, like within seconds you've solved it for them, and it's just shows how much you care about people getting value for money from anything that they've bought from you. I mean, it's just insanely good. It really is.
Absolutely. Customer support, customer service is like my highest on the rankings of, when you're running your own business, your own site, like that's next to number one for me. That and putting out good quality products. So, yeah, I mean, I had someone message me like, thankfully, it was like, oh, it's amazing how quick you respond to everyone. They're like, you must have a whole team. I'm like, nope, it's just me. But
Oh, wow. Well, you're doing an amazing job, and the entire magic world is buzzing about what we are going to be talking about today, which is
yes,
Black Mirror. Now, I don't know how much I can say, how much I can't say about Black Mirror, but I know a lot of people have got a lot of questions. So I'm hoping this little chat with you is going to give people the answers that they want. Everybody is buzzing about it. Everyone is talking about it. And is it fair to say, I want to know all about Black Mirror from your point of view and where it came from and where it came to be.
sure.
And but it kind of builds on the work that you started with Vox and then went into Synergy, and you took everything to an entirely another level with Synergy. Now you've gone to another level again with Black Mirror. Is that fair to say from an evolution point of view?
Yeah, so I've released three shortcut projects to date, this being the third. Vox was the first, and each one was its own sort of thing. Vox was shortcuts using Siri, and mainly evolved around ACAN. Then there was Synergy, which was a system using that for multiple outs that was layered and that created photos, wallpapers. It worked with apps. It worked with Apple Music, a whole bunch of crazy stuff in there. So check that out if you haven't. I'm still really proud of that to this day. And then Black Mirror was kind of like the variety project. So there's seven effects on here. We can get into detail about those in a minute, but I was kind of all working on all these over the past year and a half or so at the same time. I mean, Vox was done a little bit earlier on, as it was kind of me getting my feet wet and, proud of that, but that was easier on the back end for what had to be done. And then Synergy took a while to work out, and then Black Mirror has always been there in the background, evolving, evolving, evolving. I mean, it's one thing to say when people say, "Oh, I've been working on this for 3 years. I've been working on this for 2.5 years." You had the idea 2.5 years ago, and then you put it on the back burner, and then now it finally came out. So you can technically say it's been 2.5 years. This is one where it was like active. Like, I mean, even to weeks before launch, I had these other like little things I was putting in the back end, just like constantly tweaking and improving along the way. So it's been a journey to get here. So many sleepless nights, but it's out there. People seem to be loving it. The response has been fantastic. So it was hard work that paid off.
And yeah, people are loving it. The buzz is incredible around it. So let's talk about Black Mirror, and let's talk about the different
Yeah.
routines. Because like you say, it's an eclectic range of material. Um, First, let's talk about the limitations, just in terms of so
Yeah.
that people understand. You have to be an iPhone user to be able to be to get anything out of this project. Is that fair to say?
Yes, so it does not work on Android. That's because this is all built on the Shortcuts platform. So that's at the time of filming, iOS 13 and later, you need on your device in order to perform Black Mirror.
Okay, which is fine. And anybody who is a magician and isn't an Apple user, have a quiet word with yourself at this point, to be honest, because like you're missing out on a ton of amazing magic. Um,
Great.
but let's talk, because obviously, mainly in part thanks to you, we know more about shortcuts and magic than ever before. But every single time I see you bring a new project out, you've taken it to an entire other level. Like you can, and this is like just the stuff that you're doing with this and the stuff that you've described to me and the stuff that I've seen and you've performed. It's just ridiculous, David. Like absolutely ridiculous. It's almost like cheat. It's almost not fair. Like it's almost cheating, really, to be honest. The effects that you can achieve,
It's
ridiculous.
basically a cheat code in your pocket for your phone. I mean, that is the proper word because what it does is pretty crazy on the back end. I won't bore people with technical details, but there's some good stuff going on there. I'm not the only one exploring this space. Mark Lemon's doing incredible stuff with shortcuts, so I wanted to give him a shout out too. But I think that I've pushed this in sort of some different directions here and really proud of not just what's on here, but there's a lot of variety too. It's all mentalism based effects, but I mean, some of them here are reveals or premises that I kind of haven't really seen done before in certain cases. So I'm happy, if I don't know everything that's out there, but if I am pioneering sort of new stuff here, I'm glad to be a part of that.
Well, let's talk about the different effects. You say there's 7 effects on here, and the
Yeah.
one that everybody has been raving about to me, and this doesn't happen all the time, but honestly, the amount of people that have been messaging me going, "Have you seen the lottery prediction?" Because people know I love lottery predictions, and all I hear from people is, "Have you seen the lottery prediction? Have you seen the lottery prediction? Oh, it's the best thing ever." I've just done a virtual magic club in my Netrix platform, and everybody that was there was just saying, Have you seen the lottery prediction? Oh my god! So let's talk about that one first because that's one of the routines that people are really buzzing about.
It's probably my favorite on the project, just because of how quick and ridiculous it is. So, what I really like about it is, and this was one of the things I sort of struggled with while I was working on this, because on Black Mirror, there are multiple different inputs for certain effects, right? So, I didn't want this one to be something where, like, let's say they're writing the numbers for the lotto in your notes app and then it appears in a photo. I wanted to sort of separate this. So what happens in this one is you have a blank card or a post-it note, for example, and you can write any 6 numbers they give you down for lotto numbers. And then you just literally, boom, open up your phone, go into your photo gallery, and there's a picture of the lotto ticket with their numbers on there, bang on. And I mean, there's no inputs. Like, it's literally just they see you pick up your phone, you go into your photo gallery, you turn around, and there it is. And not only that, like, the numbers can be like this paper can be, any way on the table in front of you. It doesn't have to be like in a certain position or whatever. It could be upside down, the numbers to you. I mean, it really doesn't matter. I'm not going to speak too much of the method here, but it's done in a matter of seconds. It's not like you're there pressing a bunch of buttons or anything. So there, Murphy's has released a full performance, so you guys can see. It's actually been improved since then, which is even crazier to think of. But yeah, there's also a bonus variation of this where you can get the numbers spot on. But in the bonus version is my favorite, and this is how I perform it because I say that I'm the most unlucky person in the world. You're not gonna believe me, I'll show you. And then what I like about this is kind of flips a lot of prediction, it gives it a different style presentation. I say, you're gonna give me the winning numbers. So I take out a piece of paper and a pen and I write down whatever numbers they can even write it down. What is 1 through 60, 1 through 70, whatever it is in your area. They give you the winning numbers, and I say, yeah, let's see, we got 16, 37, 21. Like, yeah, this looks familiar. Let's have this happen again. I think you bring it out of your phone, you show your photo gallery, you show that every single, let's say 6 numbers, all 5, yes, bang, 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 yes, yes, hit, 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 hit. The last one, let's say they wrote 48, and then you have 47 on the ticket. See what I mean? The most unluckiest person ever. And then you turn over the piece of paper you wrote it on the back, it says, why am I always off by 1 on the last number every single time? Which just ties it all home as a prediction. It has a telegraphed routine that now has a kicker ending that all makes sense. It's really funny. Like, it just checks every box for me. And you can choose however you like, whether you want to be bang on or off by 1. But it's not only that you're off by 1, you predicted which of the 6 numbers you'd be off by 1 on. So it just adds a whole nother impossible layer to it. So I'm really proud of the lotto prediction.
I could see I could see like somebody going on a Got Talent, like in America's Got Talent or Britain's Got Talent, with that routine, going up to the judge's desk, getting them to write 6 numbers down and showing the prediction on the phone. I could see that. I could see somebody doing that.
Yeah, for sure. I can see that happening too. Again, it's really strong. I don't want to hype up my own stuff, but based on everyone else's feedback, that's been by far and away the most popular one here. I know how good it is, so to speak. And there have been improvements even since it came out. So it just keeps getting evolved. And there's little details too, like when you look at the photo ticket, actually on that image, the date on the ticket is from 5 days ago with the correct date. No matter when you take it, it appears in your gallery from 6 days ago. There are other photos after it. Like there's so many little subtleties built into it that it's one that I'm really proud of.
That's brilliant. I love that. I love that so much. So
Thank
that,
you.
but that's just one of the effects.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us about another one?
Sure. So there's a book test on there, which I'm in love with. So this is using the Books app on your phone, so Apple
Mhm.
Books. So you're talking about ebooks in this case, and it's as hands off as ever. You open Apple Books, and you can even show them like 5 different books. They can choose from any one of the books. They hold the phone. They swipe back and forth to any page. I don't even have to touch the phone. I say, go ahead, look at the first line, find like a nice, long, interesting word there. You got one, great. Hand it to your friend. The friend then takes the phone. They swipe from that page to wherever they want back and forth. I say, okay, you got it. You do the same thing. You look at your first line, find like a nice, interesting word. You got one too. Put the phone away. I never touch the phone, and I can instantly reveal both words that they're thinking of, which is just crazy because I mean, it's there have been other book tests using Apple Books, but not in where you can do like 2 words, not in a hands-off nature where they literally hold the phone. They're swiping back and forth under their complete control. You never have to retrieve the phone or anything. It is so strong. And again, they're choosing in some of the routines on there from 1 to 5 books that they can even choose from. So it's kind of nice in that regard, as most, if you were to do a book test with 5 books, it's here are the 5 books to choose from. This you can do that on your phone, which is nothing to carry around. So it just has that EDC nature to it that makes it very practical.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Wow. Okay. I don't, yeah, that's, I'm trying to work out in my head, knowing the type of stuff that you do, because we're filming this before I've actually watched everything. I wanted to get the interview with you done before I actually delve deep into the project. And
Sure.
I know I understand your work. I love everything that you've done with shortcuts. So I'm trying to figure out how that would even be possible. And I can't think of
Yeah,
that.
you're always in the genuine pages of the Books app too. So there's no like screen recordings or photos that pop up. Like when you're looking at that page, you can swipe back and forth to the next page. You're really in the book the whole time.
Wow.
So that's
Okay.
just one of them.
So
There
that's
is, should I just move on to the next one?
yeah,
Just to
please do. Let's go
recap.
for the next one. So routine number three, what we got?
So there's a photo prediction on here, and there's multiple variations with different input methods. But this is basically the presentation I like to use, and the one you'll see in the performances is imagine you're going to a zoo. You come up to your favorite animal exhibit. Just think of that animal, and they either write it down on a piece of paper or they write it in the notes app. You just give them your phone, and you say that's crazy. You never take the phone back. You just say, actually, go into my photo gallery. I went to the zoo a few days ago. I took one photo of one animal. They look, and from 5 days ago is a picture of the zebra in your photo album or whatever it was that they thought of, and that could be either written down on a piece of paper or written in your notes app. It's crazy, and there are multiple methods behind that on the back end and different ways of doing that. But I just will say that all of these, for the most part, work offline. That is one that does require an internet connection, which may be a hint at the method, but I'm happy to put that out there.
Not for me. I still don't understand how you put that.
It's
Brilliant.
crazy. It really is very cool how that works. And that's one that everyone just has so much fun playing around with. Like once they get it and they go to their gallery and they see that, it's just like you know when some effects are like magical for you and you perform it on yourself?
Mhm.
That's one where every time you perform it, and by the way, that can appear as your wallpaper on your phone too. That doesn't have to appear in your gallery. So imagine that they like wrote something. Let's say it was in the notes app, so they wrote like zebra in the phone they've been holding the whole time. I say, actually, you know what? Go ahead, lock the phone, and then unlock it. Take a look, and they're seeing a zebra as your wallpaper. So actually, here was one of Let me just get rid of these notifications that are up. But like that is a giraffe, and that would be your wallpaper. So
Oh my God. Okay. 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 Right. Next, because my mind is getting blown right now. Next.
so this one is relatively simple but very cool. So you go into Google Maps, you say that you're gonna type in a city as your prediction. You place the phone down or you hand it to them. They swipe out. They go to the Note app. They type in any city they love to visit, and then I say, all right. So think about that city. You got it. Actually, here, wait, go into Google Maps, see what city I predicted, and it's the same city that they have just thought of, which is probably the most simple one on here. But there's multiple different ways to input that, and it's very, very cool the way that all works, despite it being simple. It's very
Simple.
strong.
It might be simple, but simple sometimes is the best way.
Yeah. We talked about that. There is a word peak, which is really cool. So there's two ways of doing this, but one is just so good. So they can go into the Notes app and type in anything they want. And this is kind of like the digital equivalent of a center tear. So they go into the Notes app, they type in a name. Let's say it's Elizabeth. Then I say, okay, so see that person. There's justifications for why they're writing that in, just like you would with any billet. Show it to your friends so I can see. I talk about all justifications on the project. So actually, you know what? Delete that. So they delete the word and then close out of Notes and lock the phone. So it's almost like a center tear, whereas that word never existed because before they even finished writing the note, it was deleted. And then I just immediately I have full view of it, even as open as this. I know what it is, and the way that's done is very clever. Mark Lemon has some similar work on this. So does Mark Kirstein's older project, but have permissions from Mark and those guys. But I do it in a little bit different way on here. That's just very, very cool, and it's such a bold but impossible to for them to notice peak. So that's really cool. And then the last two on here are birthday gift and vacation, and these are kind of similar. And this is one that I'm really proud of because I haven't quite seen anything like this before.
Mhm.
So on the birthday gift routine, it comes with a graphic of like a nice printout from like a magazine article of top 30 birthday gift ideas. So I say, oh hey, I'm terrible at picking out gifts for people for their birthday. So does your birthday happen to come up soon? They said no, it's like July 7th. Okay, so you got a little bit of time. But if I were to give you this list, which item would you want from it for your birthday? And let's say they pick like a PlayStation 5 or whatever it is, right? So I say, well, this is kind of crazy because look at my photo gallery right here. And then I go inside my photo album. I'll kind of show this to you here. You see how it says your gift here? So they tap on that, and then there would be one photo in there next to the gift, which is a PlayStation 5. So if they click on that, they'd see the photo of the PlayStation 5. But then here's the crazy thing. You then say, yeah, now, when was your birthday again? I said July 7th. Take a look at the date that photo was taken, and then
Oh,
up there, where you see the
oh.
date up here, it actually says July 7th, which is their birthday. And that is a kicker that I personally haven't seen done before, where you're revealing their birthday and date of the photo. And if you think about this, this is kind of like the calendar or the diary effect, which I personally never really liked because, in my opinion, what kind of psychopath writes different cards at every single date of the year? Like, it's just, I can never get past that. But this just is a kicker where you have that there. And then the vacation routine is kind of similar to that, where you show a printout of the top 20 travel hotspots in the world. So, where would you like to go on vacation and when would you like to go? So, they say a date and they pick a place. So, let's say they pick like Tahiti, right? So, then
Yeah.
I say, this is crazy. I knew you'd say those things because I have undeniable proof on my phone that you would sue those exact location or make those exact choices. Seriously, you want to see it? Look, check it out here. Undeniable proof, and I really stress that. And I go to my photo gallery and show them it's a picture just of like a beach, which could be anywhere. So this is kind of like a 52 on 1 gag, right? So you see that here, and then I say, yeah, that could be anywhere because all 20 locations are tropical like beach destinations. And they say, no, 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 no. You see the tone of that water? That's definitely Tahitian waters. That was 100% taken in Tahiti. They don't believe you. Then you say, well, actually, I can show this to you because when you go into any photo, um, let me see if I can find this here. So if you scroll up on a photo, this is one of my family here,
Yeah.
but it has a geolocation on a map.
Oh, okay. I
And
didn't
that
know that.
actually shows it taken in Tahiti, and you can click on here and see it in Tahiti. So you
Wow.
actually prove that it was. Then not only that, they look at the date the photo was taken, and it was the date they chose to go on the trip. So you have an innocent photo in your gallery, which they think is a gag, and you got it wrong, and you have two insane reveals hidden in plain
That,
sight right there.
that's ridiculous.
So all of this is all part of Black Mirror. I know I just
What I
rattled on
like
for a
about it
bit,
is once
but
you've installed all of the shortcuts, let's say you're a restaurant worker or you're somebody that's like needing to perform to lots of people in one. The point I'm trying to make is you don't have to do the same trick every single time at every single table. If you work in a restaurant, you want to kind of get away with that anyway. You can have all these shortcuts on your phone and you can say, right, I'm going to do lottery prediction on you. I'm going to do this prediction on you. I'm going to do this one on you, this one on you. And you can be working the whole night and have a completely different routine for everybody.
yeah, there's so much variety, especially when you consider this is only 40 US dollars, which, like, I've had so many people say the lotto prediction alone is worth that, let alone the six other routines. And just some other things to point out is that where this really gets insane is when you do the integrations with Inject and Hydra and QR Genie. So for Inject, for example, I can load up Google Maps on my phone, make a prediction, place it down. I say, let's go on your phone, let's go to Google. And then in your Google, you type in a city, and I say, okay, so you're seeing like some information about that, like maybe the current weather, some photos. You can really imagine that in your mind. Go look at my phone. Your phone's on the table the whole time. They turn it over, they're seeing the city that they typed in on their phone. The same thing with that for the photos. So the photo prediction doesn't have to be in notes, it can be typed into Google on their device and ends up as your wallpaper. I mean, the word peak. So when you get the peak of the word, you actually say, hey, you know what? With Hydra, go on my Instagram bio on your phone. You see that there? Yeah, look at my bio there. It says, I don't know why, but the name Elizabeth will be relevant today, or however you want to customize that. So not only is it a peak, but then it's a prediction. So having these integrations with these other apps and other by these great creators out there just really takes this to the next level where you can have inputs done on their phones, you can have reveals end up on Facebook or Instagram, all sorts of stuff. And the other thing is there's no language restrictions, which is also crazy because every single one of these works in any language. And because of that, like for example, just to show about the back end, like the level of detail that goes into, let's say they type a word into notes or whatever. I don't think that people are, it's not a stretch of imagination to understand that's an input method. But what if I told you that it takes that word and then runs it up through Google Translate through over like 100 different languages and then finds the one, it's a text to language, and then will translate that in whatever language it's put into English through those hundreds of languages on the back end. So now when it goes through what it has to do on the back end of the shortcut, it's always going to work because you have conversions every step of the way, which just take that to the next level. And those are routines that use the internet anyway. So it's like, why not build this in the back end of it? So I can literally take my phone, start writing in Chinese characters in my notes app, and whatever my reveal is going to be on my wallpaper is going to match that, even though I don't speak Chinese or anything. So that's like the level of detail that goes into this, which is pretty cool. And when we have users in the Facebook group in Korea and all over the world enjoying this because it just adds that flexibility. It's very rare that you have a product like this that does the things that it does, where you can say no language restrictions.
Wow. And what about for people that are, I don't want to say technophobes, but or Luddites, but somebody who doesn't really have any experience with magic apps or magic on a phone, will they be able to set it up okay?
Okay, so let me phrase it this way. You should be comfortable with your phone. So I'll talk about the setup video. The way that the setup video is done is I take my wife's phone, which is clean, And in real time, you see me setting up her phone from scratch. So you follow along watching on your computer screen with your phone in your hand. You do as I do on your phone. I walk you through everything in real time. You'll probably have to pause it. You'll probably have to rewind it once in a while. But throughout that 45-minute video, everything is set up on your phone, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So you should know your way around your phone. If you're the type of person who, someone messages me, like grandkids FaceTime me and I can't get it to work and I don't know how to get to my lock screen, I can never figure out how to log on to Facebook. If you're that person, this is not for you. But if you are comfortable with opening your phones, knowing I can go into my settings and change my vibration mode to this or whatever, just general knowledge of your phone and how to work around it, like that, you'll be fine. Since it came out, I revised the tutorial for some of the pain points where people get hung up a few times, so now it's crystal clear.
Wow.
And then there's a troubleshooting guide where every single issue that's come up in the Facebook group, I've addressed and added to troubleshooting guides. So between those two, if you run into any problems, you should be covered by now. And since I've made those changes, I'm seeing much less and less and less on the troubleshooting side. But of course, if there is, hop on the Facebook group or reach out to me and get it resolved usually within minutes.
That's brilliant. So it's $40.
Yeah.
I'm going to give the whole thing a review in a bit, but it's super practical. I mean, that's the thing I'm getting from everything that you've said. It's really, really practical. Whether you're an
Oh,
amateur
yeah.
or a
What
pro, whatever, you can go out and you can do this sort of stuff immediately.
Once it's set up, it's a one-time setup, and actually performing the effects is like stupidly easy. It's literally like press a button or press this or do that. It's just like as easy as it gets to perform.
Wow. That's amazing. So one last question before I take it back into the studio and give it a full
Yeah.
review. Um, this is your third shortcut project.
Yes.
Are we going to be seeing more? Is there more coming? I know you can't be specific; it's impossible. But are we going to see other projects in the future from you to do with shortcuts?
Yes. So I'm not going to describe what they are, but there's one that's coming very soon,
Hmm?
and that one will actually be on Android as well, which is very cool.
That's
So
a
for
game
everyone,
changer because by its very definition, you shouldn't be able to use an Android to do this sort of stuff.
so it's built on shortcuts for iOS. And then my very good friend Kevin Ost, who is a name that you guys will be hearing a lot more of in the future. The guy's an absolute genius. I teamed up with him and he figured out using similar Android tools to get it work on Android. And we have it working on both platforms right now. That'll be a project that comes with the shortcuts and physical props as well that work in conjunction together, and that will be released later this year. And then I have one other project in the pipeline using shortcuts that's going to be released with Penguin Magic from myself, Nicholas Mavrasis. Nicholas did, again, it's a physical product. He did a lot of the physical stuff with it. I did the
Mhm.
shortcut element of it, and that is insane. You know what that is.
Mhm.
And
I can't wait
with
for that
those
one.
two in the pipeline, that's what I have for the moment for shortcuts. And knock on wood, both of those should be out this year.
Well, you know what? I know you're going to be successful with this. It's been out as of time of filming. It's been out a week or two. Like I said, the buzz is great. You've got a very vibrant Facebook group for Black Mirror users, and they're sharing ideas and coming up with concepts. And this is going to be successful, regardless of what I say in a review. But for what it's worth, I think it's brilliant.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you mentioned the Facebook group. I've been blown away by the Facebook group, but the whole point, what I want a Facebook group is I don't want it to be like a tech support hub, which a lot of with apps, that's what it turns into. I want it to be a sharing output of creativity, and it's happening there because in the Black Mirror group, we have our users who are sharing shortcuts based on the concepts in here and building roles and creating new routines and sharing with the community. And some of them are amazing. I'd be happy to include that on the project. So you get these 7 routines, but you get access to the exclusive Facebook group. And then within there, our users are creating incredible routines as well. So
Wow.
it's more than 7 because some of them are just genius. So I couldn't be more thrilled with how that community has been really vibrant. It's been a great welcoming place for people. We got good people in there, and I'm excited to, as that continues to grow. But it's been great to see. One of my goals is not just to show you the effects, but hopefully I open up your eyes to what can be done with this and where can you take it. And I'm already seeing that in the Facebook group after just a few weeks, which is unreal.
It's amazing. So anybody who's watching this, listen to my review. Spoiler, it's going to be a good one. Then go pick up a copy if you haven't already done so. Then join the Facebook group, because the amount of gold that is in there is just ridiculous.
Yes, absolutely.
David, thank you so much. I know you're going to have about another 40 projects out between now and the end of the year, and I cannot wait all of them. Thank you so much for coming on the channel. Thank you so much for chatting to me about Black Mirror. Congratulations on all the success that you're getting with it. It's well deserved. I'm going to take it into the studio now and give it a full review. But one more time, David, Jonathan, thank you so much.
Thank you so much as well. And just so people know, I'm not just a shortcut guy now. There are more physical, non-shortcut related things coming out this year. So I did not abandon you guys. But
I had a sneak peek of some of the stuff that David is bringing out this year that is completely non-shortcut related, and
yeah.
it is mind-blowing,
Oh,
absolutely
thank you.
mind-blowing. There's one thing that, there's a couple of things, but the thing that you showed me with with the thing on them, and the spread, and the
Oh,
look.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't want to, hopefully that's given nothing away. That is something that I have been waiting for a very long time, and I didn't even know I was waiting for it until you showed it me. So yeah, you'll have to
Yes,
come back on the channel and talk more about this stuff when it comes out.
absolutely. I'd be happy to.
Amazing. Guys, keep an eye out for David Jonathan. He has got some incredible stuff coming out this year. Super practical, super commercial, and just completely innovative and creative. But now let's take it back into the studio and give a full review to Black Mirror. Okay, so first of all, I want to say thank you to David Jonathan for jumping on the channel and explaining what the Black Mirror project is. Anybody who's anybody will know that I'm very good friends with David. However, I also will tell you that I am being completely honest and impartial with this review. These are my honest opinions about what the project is. So, first of all, let's get the negative out the way. And it's not really a negative, but it's something that everybody needs to understand. The first thing that you need to understand that this is a very big project. It's got a lot of scale to it. And it's going to take you a while to get through everything and understand how everything works. Now, there's 7 routines on the project, 7 full routines. And when you buy the Black Mirror project, it comes with an installer. And what happens is you activate that installer, and you can then install everything into your phone that you need to run all 7 of those those particular tricks, right? Which is absolutely fine, but you have to prime each individual. So each trick needs numerous shortcuts in order to do what it needs to do. And because of that, you have to prime each individual one. You have to do a lot of stuff on your phone with the settings and so on and so forth. And the first video you're going to come to is like a 50-minute video about how to set up your phone. The problem is it's more than 45 minutes, because David suggests that you follow along. You watch this on something else, like a laptop, which is what I did, and then follow along with your phone. The problem is I've not really got much experience with shortcuts outside of what I've been doing with David Jonathan's material. So when I'm watching this video, a lot of the time I'm having to pause it or rewind it. I'm having to go back a bit and go, hang on, I think I missed something there. Let me go back again. Not that David's explained it badly, he hasn't. It's just there's so much information and there's so much that you need to do that if you make one thing wrong, if you do one thing badly, it can mess the whole trick up. So you have to really focus and concentrate. And it took me a few hours to make sure that everything was prepped and everything was primed. Now, David Jonathan, his customer service is second to none. The Facebook page is great. The Facebook group, everybody's super helpful. But you are going to have to invest a few hours. Now, it is a one-time setup. You're not going to need to set this up again. It's a one-time setup, but it's something worth noting. If you're the sort of person that doesn't like to spend hours setting stuff up, well, then, you know, you're not going to particularly like this. But it's a necessary evil to be able to have everything set up on your phone. Also, I will tell you, the last 5 minutes of the video, David says, you don't have to do this, but if you do this, it's just going to make things run a little bit easier. I think you do need to do this. He teaches you a way of actually being able to activate all of the shortcuts without even opening the Shortcuts app. And you have them hidden in plain sight on your phone, and nobody will ever be able to find them. Genius idea, absolutely genius idea. I really would suggest that anyone that does this, because I almost missed it, I almost got to 5 minutes before the end and heard David say, now you don't have to do this. I was like, right, I'm not going to do it then. And I kind of watched it for the review and I was like, no, damn, I need to do that. So that's something to bear in mind. Now, the other thing is, one of the very first videos you're going to see before you learn the tricks is David saying, look, you don't need any remote controls to be able to do this. You don't need a separate remote control like Synergy did. However, there are multiple input methods designed for each trick, and the cleanest way of doing it is with a remote control. So if you want to get a remote control, it's going to give you a very hands-off feel. Basically, you need a Bluetooth remote control. They're very, very cheap off Amazon. And if you've got that Bluetooth remote control, or you've got Synergy, because the same remote control will work, you could activate a lot of these apps just by stepping back, having the thing in finger palm, and doing what you need to do without even going anywhere near the phone. You do not get a remote control with this project. So in all of the performances, I'm performing 5 of the 7 routines. In all of the performances that you're going to see, I don't use a remote control, even though I've got a remote control. And even though I probably will use a remote control when I start using these in gigs, and trust me, I am going to start using these in gigs, I wanted you to see what it was like if you didn't actually have a remote control. So the performances you see, no remote controls are used. I'm using other input methods. And the beautiful thing about this is David goes through multiple different input methods. So you can literally, pick what's best for you. And so when you see the performances of the various different routines on this project, you're going to see that I've done one input method. You don't necessarily have, like, you'll see one particular trick where I get Jack to write something in a notes page. I don't have to get him to write something in a notes page. I can get him to write it down on a piece of paper if I want to. You'll see that there's some where I take the phone and show it to the camera or show it to the audience. You don't need to do that. There's other ways of doing that, just so you're aware. So with that in mind, once you've set everything up, you then go into the individual tricks. And what happens is there's a live performance, normally by Javier. So Javier Fuenmayor from Murphy's Magic, who's an incredible performer. He performs a lot of the routines. So you see a live performance, which is amazing. These routines are designed to work in the real world anyway. But then after the live performance, David then explains exactly how it all works in his studio. So we're going to have a look at one of the routines now. And this is the one that a lot of people are buzzing about. When I was speaking to other people about the Black Mirror project, the lotto trick was one that a lot of people were kind of raving about. If you don't know what the lotto trick is, the idea is it's kind of a lotto prediction on your phone. So I'm just going to show you a performance of this and then we'll talk about it. Do you play the lottery?
No.
I do. Not very often. It's just when I get the urge. And last week, I played the lottery. And we'll get back to that a little bit later on. But have you ever played it ever in your life?
Never.
Okay. Well, you know the concept, right? You pick 6 numbers,
Yes.
and if those 6 numbers hit, you're a millionaire, and you can tell me to shove your job up my arse. That's basically the concept, right?
No, I'll tell him that anyway.
Yes, and then I handcuff you to your desk. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up with we're going to pretend that you two, Michael behind the camera and you, Jack, are playing the lottery, and you're going to pick 3 numbers each.
Okay.
So you can go for the first number, whatever they are, write them down. What number would you like?
7.
7. So you're going for 7. What number would you like, my friend?
14.
14. 14. What number would you like?
28.
28. Interestingly, my IQ. Okay, that's cool. Back to you, Michael. What number would you like?
31.
31. 31. What about you?
37.
I love how you guys are going in order with this. You don't need to, but subtly between you, you've decided we're going to go numerical with
Well, I
this.
thought we were going in 7s at first.
No, right. 37, you said, yeah?
Yeah.
And that leaves the last one to you, Michael.
42.
42. Now, Are you guys happy with those numbers? We can do the whole thing again if you want to. It's up to you.
No, stick with it.
Because what I need to tell you here is that in my phone, I actually have a photo. And the photo was put there a few days ago. I said I played the lottery a few days ago. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I don't know if do you play the lottery, Michael?
No.
Okay. What I tend to do, because I play it so infrequently, is when I play the lottery, I'll take a photo of the ticket.
Yeah.
And I'll put that, and I'll keep it, because if I lost my ticket, I've still got a photo of it, right? Kind of proof that I played the lottery, and in case I win. And you know what's really weird? I played the lottery last Saturday. I didn't win. But here's the thing that's really weird. Have a look at this. If I open up my photo album, and you can see right here, a couple of days ago, there's my lottery ticket. You can see it's actually dated last Saturday. But if I zoom in on it, have a look at the numbers.
Fuck?
We've got 7, we've got 14, 28, 31, 37, and 42. I actually predicted the lottery numbers
What the actual
that you guys would pick.
What?
I know. No idea. You guys should play the lottery, like, seriously, because that's insane. So that was Lotto, and that is super, super mega clean. Like, it really is. And it looks just like that. You get 6 people. Ironically, like I said, in that performance, Michael and Jack were putting the numbers in order. You don't have to have them put the numbers in order at all. You don't have to write it down yourself. I will probably write it down myself, but you don't have to. You can get them to write it down for you. And it makes no difference. You will have predicted it. Now, the nice thing about everything is David gives you so many different options with this. So, for example, if you don't want the final reveal is the lottery ticket is on a desk, like next to your laptop. Now, you don't need to have that there. I know my friend Thomas Maloney, who I interviewed on Magic TV a couple of weeks ago, he's actually created his own image and photoshopped his own image of the lottery ticket actually stuck to the fridge in his house. And he's put some other reveals around the fridge as well, which is absolutely fine. David talks about this because as well as all the different videos, you get a quick start guide, you get a PDF, you get this, you get that, you get the other, you get a bunch of different stuff, right? So you can adapt absolutely everything. And if you don't want, like when you saw that particular performance, the picture of the lottery ticket was a couple of photos back and you saw some photos of food. If you don't want photos of food and you want photos of something else like your kids, you can do that. You can literally adapt it however much you want to. But this is an incredibly strong trick. When you actually think about what's happening here, you're getting people to name any lottery numbers that they want to. It is a completely free choice. They're writing them down. And then immediately you take your phone and you show it. And in your photo album, dated a few days ago, you've got that lottery ticket with those numbers on it. I mean, when you think about holy grail routines, that's about as close as you're going to get, right? And the thing is, it's completely self-working. There's not any sleights. There's not any moves. You don't have to do anything. You literally just take your phone, you turn it over, and it's done. If you want to do a lottery prediction, I mean, this is just a genius way of doing it. It really, really is. And I can see why a lot of people are buzzing about this particular trick because it is that direct. Now we're going to have a look at another one. And this one comes with a thing that you can print out in colour or in black and white. Now, I've just printed it out in colour for now, but this one's called The Gift, and it's a prediction of a gift with a kicker ending. Let's have a look at a performance of this. When's your date of birth?
29th of August, 97.
29th of August.
Yeah.
29th of August, interesting. It's Sarah, I don't know if you know when Sarah's is, it's coming up at the end of May. And I've been trying to think of what to get her. And a little while ago, I actually got myself this. I found this on the internet and I actually printed it off. What it is, have a look at this. It is gift guide, the 30 best birthday present ideas. And I thought that maybe I could get one of these and she'd like it, kind of as a source of inspiration.
All right.
And I got it a little while ago and I've been mulling over it because, you know, when I got it, it was like, well, it's going to be a while for a birthday, but now it's coming up on me. I really need to pick one of these. So I want to pick your brain. If you were going to pick one of these for yourself, you've got everything from an Apple Watch to a tabletop grill and all points in between. If you were going to pick one of these for yourself, what would you pick? Yeah, have a look at them. What would you pick, mate?
I think I'd have a pizza oven.
You'd have a pizza oven, would you?
Yeah.
You're joking.
Why?
Do you believe in coincidence?
Oh God, here we go again.
No, seriously. Do you believe in coincidence?
Sometimes.
I didn't like set this up with you, did I? I didn't like set up a pizza oven or anything. That's not something that I did, right?
Yeah.
Because I actually settled on one gift for Sarah.
Is it the pizza oven?
This is insane. Can you see my phone screen here, Michael? Do I need to drop the brightness for you to see it?
That's okay.
Is that okay? This is insane. What I did is in my photo album, I had a little your gift, and I was like trying out different gifts, and I was like, no, she wouldn't like that. But I ended up on one that I was going to buy her for her birthday, and I ended up going for a pizza oven, which is insane. But you know what's even more insane? I made that decision last year that I was going to go for a pizza oven. You know, every time you take a photo and you put it in your photo album and it keeps the date?
Yeah.
You're not going to believe this. Look at the date, Jack. The 29th of August,
fuck?
2023. I decided to buy Sarah a pizza oven on your birthday. That's the only photo in there. And you picked a pizza oven? Dude, that's coincidence.
That's insane.
That's ridiculous. Okay, so that's the gift. And again, very, very strong. Because once again, you can literally just walk over to a person that you've never met before, ask them what the date of birth is, show them the picture that you can print off, and you don't have to print it off. Again, David goes through so many different options. So that list of 30 items, if you don't want to print it off, you could text it over to them. You can have it in a notes page and text it over to them. So many different options. But I love the fact that you literally they have a free choice of any one of those gifts. There is no force in there whatsoever. And yet, even though there's no force and you've only just met them and got their date of birth, you can show that photo album on your phone has one picture in, which is a picture of the gift that they've picked, and it's dated and taken on their birth date. I love that as a kicker ending. It is absolutely amazing. And again, completely self-working. And that's the beautiful thing about this. You can do it immediately and it just kills. I've started playing around with these. When I have something new like this, I don't necessarily go and perform them with real people straight away. I have a group of people that I perform to, and the reactions that these have been getting are just insane. I cannot wait to start performing these routines in the real world. So that's the gift anyway. Now let's look at the next one, which is called photo prediction. I'm not going to say anything about this. I'm just going to let you see the performance of it, and then we'll talk about what we think. This is all about, what I'm going to show you today is all about using your imagination. Now, I know you've got a good imagination. We're going to see how good that imagination is, okay? I want to imagine that you decide to have a day out, okay? Right. And you go to a zoo. Not just any zoo, Jack, but this is the largest zoo of all time. This makes Jurassic Park look like a kiddie playground. Like, this place is humongous. It would take you a week and a half to walk from one side of the zoo to the other, and it's filled with every single animal you could ever imagine. Everything from a tadpole through to an elephant and all points in between. There's even a section for mythical animals, everything from a unicorn to a dinosaur to a 7-legged troglodyte. Like, there is absolutely everything. I want to imagine that you go to the zoo, you're very, very excited, and you're looking around the zoo, and you're really, really happy that you're in this zoo, because it's a very expensive place to be, and you're there, and you've been saving up to go for a while, and you're running around, and you spend an entire week in this zoo, looking at all the animals, and then you think, as you're leaving at the end of the week, which your favourite animal was in the zoo.
All right.
Can you think that animal?
Okay.
Yeah, you got it? Now, I want them to know, but I don't want to know. So what we'll do, in my notes page, what I want to do is I want you to just write the name of the animal. Can you do that for me?
Okay.
So if it was a spider, you just write spider, and then tell me when you've written it. In fact, just put it down and tell me when you've written it, okay? So I'll look over here. I don't want you to think I'm cheating. I mean, to be clear, I'm going to cheat. I just don't want you to think I'm going to.
Okay.
Are we done? Are we done? Are we done? So, Michael, what I want to do with you is I would like you to have a look at what Jack wrote. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Can you see what Jack wrote there?
Yeah.
I don't want to see. Jack, now delete delete whatever it is that you wrote.
Okay.
Very good. Is it deleted?
Yep.
And what we'll do is we'll just come out of that and we'll put that right there. So here's the thing. You could have picked any animal from time began. I didn't influence you about the animal that you picked. It was a completely free choice. I could tell you were really thinking about this. What if I told you I knew the animal that you would think of and I could just pluck it out of your mind? Would that be good?
Yeah.
What about if I told you I knew what the animal was over a week ago? How would that be?
How would you know?
Well, if I can prove it to you, would that be amazing?
Pretty good.
Because I did. A week ago, I really did. Because what I didn't show you is a week ago, I changed my lock screen of my phone.
Right.
And I want you to look, because my lock screen is that of
It's a shark.
a shark, which is exactly the animal that you were thinking of.
It was.
Isn't that weird?
Oh, go back for the shark.
Yeah, for the shark. There you go. So photo prediction is actually my favourite trick on the whole of the project. I love this. And there are so many different options as to how you can actually do this and how you can make it happen. And this is one that David says, hey, using a remote control might be the best option. As you can see, I didn't use a remote control and it looks very, very clean. But there are multiple other ways of doing this as well. You can do the same thing with with this that you did with the lottery prediction. So you just get them to write something down if you want to. Lots of different options. And basically what's happening here is as soon as they make their decision, within the system, automatically, you're having your wallpaper on your phone set to whatever it is that they're thinking of. I mean, that's just ridiculous when you think about that. Now, you don't have to have it set to your wallpaper. If you want to, you can actually have it set so that it's in your photo gallery. So you can have it so that a couple of pictures ago in your photo gallery, you've actually got this picture, which is a picture of whatever it is that they're thinking of. But if you want to have it in the wallpaper, you can, and it's very easy to change between one or the other, depending on how you want to do it. Now, I personally prefer the wallpaper. I think the wallpaper is the best option. Realistically, honestly, I think the wallpaper is the best option. But it's really completely up to you. Either way, very, very smart. Very, very, very smart. So you can have it go into the wallpaper. You can have it go into your photo album. The other thing that's worth noting about this is there's lots of different options of where that image is coming from. I don't really want to go too much into this because it's going to be talking about method. But that photo obviously has to come from somewhere. And David has thought through the various different options of where that photo comes in from. This is one of the longer tutorials of the tricks. David goes through everything in a 5-tooth comb, but he also talks about the pros and cons of each approach. And well, you can do it this way, or you can do it this way, and this is the best way for this, and this is the best way for that. Either way, I just think, like I say, that's my favorite trick. I just love the idea of somebody thinking of anything, and immediately they look at the wallpaper and it's set to be the thing that they're thinking of. And you can do a zoo like I did. You can do anything. So you can do musical instruments if you wanted to. I did it to Ryland the other day and blew his little tiny mind. And I asked him to think of a musical instrument. He thought of a piano, and my wallpaper on my lock screen, boom, was a picture of a piano. So there's lots and lots of different options. And either way that you go, it's absolutely brilliant. So that's trick number 3. Let's quickly look at a couple. I'm not performing every single routine because we'll be here forever. The 2 that I'm not performing, I'll quickly talk about now. The first one is vacation. Now, vacation is a little bit like the gift, but different, because vacation is all about going on vacation and deciding where you're going to go, kind of almost like a confabulation routine. And again, you're pulling in pictures and so on and so forth, and the date is, there's a lot going on with vacation. I thought it was very, very good. The other one is the peak. If you are a mentalist and you want to get a peak of any information, this is a great way to do it. So what happens with the peak is you can open up your notes page and have somebody think of something and type it into the notes page and then show everybody. And then they delete it out when they've shown everyone, close up the phone, and then you're going to pick up the phone. And when you pick up the phone, because of how David has set this up, just by looking at the lock screen, and people could be staring at that lock screen and they're not going to see anything. But as soon as you look at that lock screen, you know that you're going to have access to the information that they've put down. So you're probably thinking, well, that's good, but what's your justification for typing into a notes page, right? Well, it's the same. David talks about this. It's the same justification that you would use to write something on a billet, which you then put into an envelope or into a wallet. You know, I don't want you to change your mind, so I'm getting you to write it down and show everybody. I want you to show everyone so nobody else hears. It's very easy to justify, but if you are looking for a great peak, this is a great peak. This is a great peak because they can literally type it in themselves. They can then just delete it, swipe up, close the phone, and you could be doing something else, and then you could even go out the room at that point, and then when you come up, one glance at the phone, even they could be looking at the phone as well. They're not going to see anything, but you can have access to all of that information, whatever it is they've wrote in the notes page. Very, very smart thinking, very, very clever thinking. Really, really like that. Talking about really smart, really clever thinking, let's have a look at Google Maps. So Google Maps is another one. I'm not going to say anything about this. Let's have a look at performance of Google Maps. So Jack, we in this office use Google Maps an awful lot, obviously, when entertainers are planning where to go and so on and so forth.
Yep.
I'm going to go into Google Maps, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in the name of a city. I don't want you to know where the city is, but I'm going to type in the name of a city. I'm going to search for a particular city, somewhere in the world, that's all I'm telling you. And it's a city, it's not like a village or something.
Somewhere in the world, I know it down.
Okay. There we go. And I've got Google Maps. I've left it. I don't want to show you where the city is, but I've got it there. If you swiped up, you'd see it. Yeah. Now I'm going to open up my notes page. And what I want you to do is I want you to think of a city anywhere in the world. Don't say anything. It can be anywhere. It can be somewhere you've been to, somewhere you've never been to, somewhere you'd like to go to, somewhere you'd like to never go to. It doesn't really matter. As long as you can spell it, that'd be cool. Have you got the city?
Yep.
Good. What I want you to do is type it in there, and then when you've typed it in there, just put it down because I'm going to show it to the gang in a second. But I want you to take it and just type the city in. Now, the reason I get you to type that city in, there's two reasons. The first reason is it commits you to that city.
Yep.
Yeah? Have you done it?
Yep.
Put it down there. It commits, so that I can't see. It commits you to that city, so you can't change your mind now. But the other thing is, it allows me to show everybody at home without actually saying it out loud. So I'm going to look away. If you guys at home could just, and you, Michael, could just see the city. Have you got it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Perfect. So here's the thing, Jack. How many cities are there in the world? There's a lot, right? There's an awful lot. And I couldn't have known what that city was.
Nope.
Pass me one of those. Concentrate. I'm a mind reader now. Concentrate. Okay. If I had your city written on here, would that be good?
It's going to say your city, isn't it?
It's going to say your city, Jack. Yeah, that's.
I know it too well.
Not impressed. Not impressed with the gag. No. Genuinely, if I could tell you the city, would that be good?
That'd be pretty good.
Los Angeles.
Wow, how did you figure that out?
Well, it's not mind reading. It's reading. It's a totally different thing, to be honest. Not very impressive, though. I know that. But do you remember I did go somewhere on Google Maps?
Yeah.
Let's just go back to my Google Maps because I want you to see that I actually put somewhere on Google Maps. You can see that I actually selected somewhere on Google Maps right from the very beginning, which was Los Angeles, right there. Los Angeles, proof that I can predict the future. So Google Maps is very, very simple. Basically, what you saw is what it is. They think of a city. You've already set on Google Maps. You've searched for a particular city. They think of a city, and then when you open up Google Maps, it has predicted the city. David Jonathan credits Soma, Soma, who bought an app out many, many years ago called City Prediction that basically did this same thing. And that's the thing about the Black Mirror project, by the way. Any one of these tricks in the Black Mirror project could be released as an app, and you could easily charge 40, 50 quid, and people would buy it left, right, and centre. I don't know how well Black Mirror is doing. I imagine it's doing very well because it's got David Jonathan's name attached to it, and they are killer tricks. But I bet you there's people out there that would go, oh, you know what? I'd rather get an app. It's going to be easier for me to do. With this, I'm going to have to set up all these shortcuts and so on and so forth. But honestly, this is much better in many ways to an app because it's allowing you to do all of these incredible things. And this is an example. You know, the shortcut here does exactly the same as City Prediction, but it's all kind of built into your phone, and it's very, very easy to do. So when you're in the notes page, it's your real notes page. It's not an app. When you're in Google Maps, you're in real Google Maps. It's not an app. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And the final trick I'm going to talk to you about is the book test. So David has come up with a way of being able to do a book test using using iBooks. So using the Books app on your iPhone, you can literally have them open up a book and they can go through and they can think of a word and you can tell them what the word is. In fact, let's have a look at a performance. Jack, you're going to help me with something, is that okay?
All right.
And now, you don't have an iPhone, do you?
I do.
Oh, do you? Okay. So on your iPhone, do you read ebooks on your phone? Because I do. You know I travel an awful lot.
I prefer to listen to audio.
Do you? Well, I go on the book apps an awful lot, and I've got tons of books. But when you go onto the book apps, you've got the want to read section, and these are all the stuff that I'm wanting to read at the moment. Just some classics: The Invisible Man, The Land That Time Forgot, Sherlock Holmes, The Jungle Book, Peter Pan, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. You know, I'm into kind of like sci-fi and genre and that stuff. I think reading the classics is absolutely brilliant. We're going to go with The Invisible Man, if that's okay. Have you ever read the original Invisible Man?
Don't think I have.
That's very good. What I want you to do is, when you go on to here, you can see that you can scroll back and forth and you can look at all the various different pages. Can you see that?
Yep.
And lots of different pages. Now, I don't know how many words there are in The Invisible Man, but there's probably quite a lot. So what I want you to do is, in a second, you're going to take the phone and you're going to scroll back and forth like this. I'll hold it here like this, and you're going to scroll back and forth, and every single time you scroll, it's going to go to a different page, right?
Okay.
And you can stop any time that you want to. It's completely your choice. Okay, so you do that and go scrolling back and forth, and you can keep going for about half an hour if you want to, as long as you want, and when you're happy, you just stop.
Okay.
You want to stop right there?
Yep.
Do you want to change your mind?
Nope.
Okay, I don't want you saying later on, I made you stop on one particular page. I have no idea what that page is. I want you to take the phone. Don't let me see it, don't let the camera see it. I'm going to look away. And what I want you to do, whatever page you're on, look at the first word on the top of the page, on the first line.
Yep.
Remember that word.
Yep.
And then swipe up so you're at the book app.
Yep.
Yeah? And then switch the phone off. You know, put it into lock mode. Have you done that?
Yep.
Perfect. You've got a word. You would agree, can you pass me one of those cards? You would agree that there is absolutely no way I could know what your word is that right?
And 0.
Okay, concentrate on the word. Concentrate on the word.
Oh,
Are you okay?
Yeah.
It's okay. Your eyes watering is probably a side effect of me delving into your brain right now, so don't worry about it. Brace yourself, I'm coming in. Here we go, concentrate. Think of the first letter. Imagine the whole thing's written in neon. In front of you, it's written in neon. What colour is the neon?
Red.
Red, okay. That red is the colour of anger. Red is the colour of anger and danger. Does this word have kind of connotations to like somebody who's angry or somebody who's maybe...
You could say that.
Okay. Think of the first letter. It's shining brighter than all the other letters. What was the first letter?
T.
Okay. Let's try with the last letter. E. How am I doing?
That is right.
Okay, good. Think of a letter in the middle of the word. Oh, that's interesting. You looked up to the left. You were going back and forth between a couple of letters, weren't you? Was that like an L and an E?
Yeah.
Yeah. Settled on the E though, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's quite a long word. Look, I'm committed now. Some people say I should be committed, but I'm committed. Hold your hand out for me. Think about it. thousands of words in a book. You went back and forth, and with one finger, you ended up on one page. You then went to one word. If you'd flicked one more time, it would have been a different page, it could have been a different word. If we picked a different book, it would have been a completely different outcome. You ended up on one word and one word only. For the first time, what was the name of the word?
Troublesome.
And that was a free choice.
Yep.
Have a look.
I don't get it.
I even did a smiley face to make you feel happy.
That didn't work.
Okay, so that was a very simple, streamlined performance of the book test. Normally, David suggests you do it to two people. So normally, you'd hand the phone to one person, hand the phone to a second person, and then put the phone away. And automatically, it resets. Pretty much everything resets the second that you've done it. And he does it to two people. But he talks about how you can do it to one person. And because I only had Jack with me, I did it to one person. The other thing is, the way that I actually set this up is I actually went through and got a load of free books from Apple. And David talks about how you can do that. You can go and get a bunch of free books. The classics are all free. And you noticed I had 5 books in there. Now, for this to work, you have to, it's going to force a particular page very, very fairly. It doesn't feel like it's forcing anything, but it's going to force a particular page twice. So there's 2 words that you have to remember per book. And if there's 5 books in there, that's 10 words. A lot to remember, right? Now, how I did it there is I didn't give Jack a choice. He just opened up the one book and I remembered the one word I needed to remember in there. Not a problem. But David's thought this through, and that's an example of how much thought is put into this. So he actually went in there and he's given you 5 books that he's designed himself. And they all look very different. They all look legit, but they're all exactly the same. So in other words, and nobody will ever know. So you can have people go in and pick one of 5 books, open the book, go to any page, then hand it to someone else, have them go to any page, close the book, put the phone away, and you can tell them the 2 words they're thinking of because each book works the same. So there's only 2 force words that you need to think of, which is really clever thinking. He didn't need to do that. This is the point. There's a lot of stuff that David's included in this project that he didn't need to include. A lot of stuff that's kind of almost going above and beyond the Call of Duty. Like nobody would have gone to that book test and gone, you know what, this is good, but it would have been better if we had 5 books that have... Nobody would have said that. But he's adding this extra stuff and really giving people as much value as possible. And I also know he is so on updating stuff. So if things need updating, if things need changing, if things need explaining, he is totally up on that. I know when Black Mirror first launched, he was answering people's questions. He was going through a whole bunch of stuff. He still is now. The Facebook group is doing an awful lot of that as well. But there you go. I mean, what you have there are 7 really strong tricks. Now, each one of these could have been an app in its own right that sold for 30 to 50 quid, if not more. And if you were going to get all 7 of these at 50 quid a pop, that'd be 350 quid, something like that. You're getting the whole thing very, very cheaply. As I say, the only negative is you need to do a one-time setup that's going to take you a couple of hours. But once you've done that one-time setup, you're done. They are on your phone forevermore. And they're also the sort of things that are very easy to remember. So what I mean by that is if you don't do the photo prediction for 6 months, it's going to be very easy for you to remember what to do because there's nothing to it. All the hard work has been done. You've set the apps up. I have to give this project 100%. I can't give it anything else. This is one of the best, this is the best shortcut app project I've ever seen. Now, I know I know Mark Lemon has brought something out, which I'm going to be looking at in due course. And, obviously David's had stuff out before and there's other things that have been done by other people. As far as I'm concerned, David has shot through the glass ceiling and propelled off into the atmosphere. Like, this is incredible. 7 routines, all very, very good, all completely self-working, all on your phone. So, hey, what's better than this as an EDC? Oh, I've got nothing on me. I've only got my phone. Well, if I've got my phone, I've got my ability to blow your ever-loving mind, which is why this gets 100%. It gets my highest recommendation. You can get the Black Mirror project from anywhere, from David Jonathan himself, and also from all good magic dealers. I would highly recommend it. It is great. For those people that say, oh, don't do magic with phones, one thing that I can say to you, which is why not? You know, 100 years ago, people did magic with handkerchiefs because everybody carried a handkerchief around with them. They don't now, but we still do magic with handkerchiefs. Everybody has a phone around with them. Everybody has a phone. So why would you not want to include your phone in your performance, especially when it does so many amazing things like this? David Jonathan, my hat's off to you 100%. This is absolutely amazing. So there you go, guys. That's another review show in the bag. Do me a favor, let me know what you think in the comments down below. You want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. If you haven't already done so, go check out Sunday's Q&A. It was amazing. Go check on the Talk Magic as well. There's a lot of stuff that's gone up this weekend. And please don't forget, I'm going to be back again soon with another video. But thank you so much for watching me. Don't forget, check out the Netrix, www.thenetrix.com. Go check it out. It's my online streaming platform. David Jonathan's done a lecture in there. When you're on the silver level, you've got access to it. You can go check it out and check all of the goodies he was talking about. Either way, I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.